Hey, what is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? A lot of you have been asking for this, and so I'm going to do it. That's how it works. Ask and you shall receive. So here we are. A lot of you know that a few weeks ago I did a reaction video to the MyGolfSpy golf ball test, and it was very successful. I appreciate everyone who watched that. A lot of new subscribers. If you're new, we're glad to have you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Anything that is free that can help the algorithm really helps the channel out. I appreciate you being here. So there's another robotic test that comes out every year that I really enjoy as well, called the Today's Golfer robotic test, and they essentially do the same thing, a little bit different ways, but I mean it's still the same concept basically. Robotic test, 62 golf balls, see what the results are. A lot of you were wanting me to do a reaction video to this one as well. I've received several requests for it, so let's just dive right in. As you can see, this is kind of the top here. They go over, essentially how they do it, and then, there's multiple pieces to this as far as, like, you can do all the two-piece golf balls. There's different links, 3-piece, 4-piece, 5-piece, all that stuff, right? I'm just going to do all of them and compare them all just in one go. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is this is by ball type, right? So 2-piece, 3-piece club, which I call 3-piece value. Then there's 3-piece tour, which is going to be like your Pro V1. Then there's 4-piece tour, your Callaway Chrome Tour X. And then 5-piece, which is your TP5, basically. There's a couple others on the market, but I don't know as far as mainstream what they're testing. I don't think they'll, but regardless. So if we look at this, there's a lot of great data in here. For me personally, what I want to, bring a point to is the 2-piece versus the 4-piece and the 3-piece and all that stuff when it comes to the total distance, right? So when we look at the driver at 114 mile per hour, as you can see there, which is very fast, that's going to be the fastest swingers. You're driving close to 300 yards, if not a little bit more. Could be 320 if you're up in the mountains. But there's only a difference of carry between about 5 yards, and that's between the worst and the best. And the best is, of course, the 4-piece tour. Those are usually fast balls. Now, the reason I want to bring this to attention is because I still recommend 2-piece golf balls for a lot of golfers, especially golfers who are trying to just keep everything, boring safe is what I call it, right? So you're trying to just stay in the middle of the fairway, get on the green somewhere. You don't want to be out of bounds. You're just trying to shave strokes off, usually in the form of penalty strokes. If you're someone who's like, man, I'm racking up 4 or 5 penalty strokes around, I can't. That's why I recommend mid-handicappers still get a 2-piece golf ball. But the main pushback I get is, they're slow. I've read online they're slow. I don't want to lose distance. I've read online, it's only 5 yards, and that's with 115 mile an hour swing speed. If we go to the 93 mile an hour, which is average in the world for a male, now you're only looking at a 3-yard difference. And, of course, that's just averages, right? There's actually, it works both ways. The worst 2-piece golf ball and the best 3-piece is going to be a huge difference. But the best 2-piece golf ball and the worst 3-piece, that 2-piece is going to go further. And that's from my data sheet, 100%. So, which, by the way, speaking of my data sheet, I need to pull that up. So, when we go to the 78 mile an hour driver, that's obviously a senior or a slower swinger. Again, you're only talking about a 2 mile an hour. That's basically what it is, 2 to 3. Long story short, 2 or 3 yards isn't going to make or break you, right? Being 150 out compared to 147, it's not going to just lower your score like crazy. But when you close the face too much or open it too much and you can stay and play and not have to take a penalty, that will help you. That will shave strokes. That's why I usually still recommend a 2-piece, even for mid-handicappers. Usually I kind of have a strong opinion. If you're not single digits, I usually say, hey, listen, value tour at the best, but don't disregard the 2-piece model. So, all right, there's a lot of data here, so I'm going to try to get through this as quick as I can and still give you guys the best information possible. So just bear with me. This is 2-piece golf balls for your fast driver. Now, the Bridgestone E12 Speed, that's awesome to see. The E12 actually comes in, 3 different models, the Speed, the Straight, and the High Launch. The Speed's obviously meant for speed, and that's awesome. That's a really good carry number, a really good ball speed number. Titleist Velocity doesn't surprise me. the Titleist Tour Soft. I haven't had a lot of luck with the Tour Soft, but it's always hard for me to recommend a $40 two-piece golf ball. It really is. Callaway Warbird, that's become kind of a cult classic on my channel. A lot of you really like it, especially for fast swingers. I never had much luck with it, but a lot of fast swingers on the channel were like, hey, I love it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I don't have success with it. But yeah, great golf ball, especially for the value. TaylorMade distance, I haven't tested this year yet, but I will. MaxFly Straight Fly, Pinnacle Rush is a shame because they've discontinued the Rush and now it's the Pinnacle Distance. I don't like it as much. And then after that, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything else as far as something that's surprising. Let me see. Softfly, Ulti Soft. Okay, yeah, no, that all makes sense. I don't see anything abnormal there. When we get to the driver, when it comes to average swing speed, now things change. So MaxFly Straight Fly is now the number 1. Bridgestone E12 Speed now is number 2. Callaway Warbird Plus actually is up there. And I will admit, they upgraded the Warbird this year to the Warbird Plus. And I did have a little bit more success with it this year. So I think they kind of did. A couple years ago, the Warbird was so firm. It was just like a two-piece, almost like a World Long Drive ball is what it felt like. But they have actually softened it up just a tad. That's why I got a little bit better results as well. Again, you got your velocity, TaylorMade distance. Everything looks good there. I don't see anything abnormal. But keep in mind, this is why when people come to the channel and say, oh, well, it doesn't matter what your swing speed is, it doesn't matter. Golf balls aren't like that, which, yes, people still say that, surprisingly. But my point is that, like, look, now the MaxFly Straight Fly is first, right? With 114, it was 6th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th, but it went to first. I mean, it makes a difference. You know what I mean? Like, it clearly makes a difference. In human testing and robotic testing, I mean, we know at this point. Slow swing, straight fly again, awesome. E12 speed right there. I'll tell you what, if you need some ball speed, the E12 speed seems to be a real winner, which looking at mine as well, when I go to the E12 speed, yeah, a lot of ball speed there, especially for a two-piece model like that. Good, that matches, okay. 7-iron, so 109.2. It looks like the E12 speed again. Oh no, a straight fly actually is there. That's the highest in ball speed is the straight fly. So good for the straight fly. Awesome ball. Been recommending the straight fly for years. MaxFly as a whole has just an incredible lineup. The soft fly, awesome. The straight fly, obviously awesome. Tri-fly really surprised me this year. Really good golf ball. And then of course you have their Tour series. I don't know of any golf company right now that just across the board with 6 models or more has a more complete lineup. It's truly incredible. And then you get into the value, right? The value, you can get, I think, the two-piece models for as low as like 15 a dozen. And then, your Tour models you can get for like 30 a dozen. It's just insane. It's a really, and then if you have like Dick's Bucks or whatever it is, the coupons they get for, their reward system, you can get it down even more. They have coupons all the time. Like, MaxFly is one of just the best values in golf, period. And I just don't think that's even debatable. It's incredible what they've done over the last few years. Getting into the wedges, so this is done by Backspin RPM. The Tour Soft makes sense. It spins the most, and it should. $40 a dozen for a two-piece golf ball. It should spin the most. So I'm impressed by that. The Callaway Warbird, that's surprising. Good for you. Mizuno RB566, the E12 speed actually spins a lot despite the fact that it's all for ball speed. Velocity Rush, again, you have the usual suspects there, okay. Good. Titleist True Feel. Okay, so the MaxFly Straight Fly now is here at the bottom. I don't know if you saw that, but backspin is 3,742. That's really low. That's really low. Wow, that's like roll to the back of the green. All right, 3-piece golf balls. The Vice Tour, look at that. The Vice Tour. I have not reviewed the Vice Tour this year. Of course, I have a couple times in the past. But that's really incredible to be at the top because it's not even in their pro line. It's a budget, it's a value tour on a value tour. You know what I mean? Like it's strange, but that's awesome. Titleist AVX. I have not had any luck with the AVX unless you're a fast swinger, in my experience. Now, I will say this when it comes to the Titleist AVX. I've had a lot of people come forward with their testimonials and be like, oh, I love it. It has a low flight. It's great. The only thing I can think of with the AVX, and this is just my best guess, I think it's just one of the most punishing, least forgiving golf balls ever invented. And here's why. I have never had a good test with it. I've reviewed it, I think, 3 times now. I've never had a good test with it. It's always been really, really bad. And not like abysmal, but like below average. And I mean, especially for what I expect it to be. But so many people are like, I love it, I love it, I love it. And I can't figure it out because, again, it's not like I tested it once. I've tested it multiple times. And the only thing I can think of is because I do the human element. And I'm hitting a little off the toe every once in a while. You know, maybe one's a little bladey. That's the whole idea of the human element, is figuring out, you know, how mishits react. Maybe that's why. And that's all I can come up with, because I can't seem to get any decent numbers out of it at all. Whether it's spin, pitching wedge, driver, all of it's either average or below. But yet I come here and look at the robotic testing and it always does well. So it could be my swing. I don't know. There's a lot of factors there, but I've never had luck with the AVX. I really haven't. So interesting. All right, Kirkland. Yes, Kirkland, if you're a fast swinger, I've been preaching that on the channel all year long. If you're a fast swinger, the Kirkland is a really good golf ball, but if you're not, it's okay. And also, it's very punishing. It's very punishing on mishits off the tee. You will see a lot of hook and slice if you're someone who normally does that. That's been my main issue with it. Not that it's a bad golf ball, but it's just not very forgiving, unfortunately. And the Seed SD05. That's interesting the SD05 got so low. And I also do, and I'll admit this, I wonder if this is last year's SD05. Because they did do the Rush, which isn't in production anymore. So I almost wonder if the Seed they tested was the previous year's model. Because I just got done testing the Seed SD05. I have not released the review yet, but in driver ball speed, it's like top 3. And I'm sorry, I don't usually give away stuff like that, but I have to for the sake of this video. Like, it's one of the best I've ever tested. So I do wonder if they tested last year's model and didn't test this year. It's possible, I don't know. But being the bottom, being the worst, would lead me to believe that it had to have probably been last year's. I don't know that for sure, but then we get into 93 mile an hour, the average speed. Again, the Vice Tour. I got to test the Vice Tour now. I mean, that's all there is to it. I got to get my Vice Tour out and try it out and see. Again, Callaway ERC Soft. A lot of you have been wanting that review this year. Excellent. Titleist AVX. I've already said my piece about that. Same thing with the Kirkland. Tour Response. Yep, good golf ball this year. They made some improvements. Chrome Soft. Okay. All right, Chrome Soft's up there. And then you got some Bridgestone, Maxfly Tri-Fly, Wilson Triad. Wilson Triad isn't going to be a fast golf ball. Wilson Triad is an amazing golf ball, but not because of ball speed. It's soft, it has a lot of feel, it has a lot of technology packed into it, the whole balancing technology that Wilson's got in there. It putts well, it chips well, it's extremely tight in dispersion. It's kind of like I was mentioning earlier how I said I always recommend a golf ball for mid-handicappers that are, you know, either a value 3-piece or whatever. That would be the value 3-piece because it's extremely tight in dispersion, it's very consistent, distance control is excellent. It's just not very fast. It's soft. And so it's not going to really, and that's the other thing to keep in mind when you read a list like this, right? There's so many factors that go into a golf ball. It's not just distance. If you're someone who is still getting used to all this and you're looking at it just going, okay, well, what's at the top? That's what I need to play. There's so much more to it, you know, right? There's accuracy, there's distance control, there's, you know, the green side, there's putting, there's, you know, all of your irons as a whole. How does it react to long irons? Does it spin a lot on long irons? Does it spin a lot on mid irons? How are the short irons? There's so much that goes into it that this is fun and this is good to look at, but we have to keep that in mind because anyone looking at this is going to go, oh, well, the Wilson Triad's not very good. It's at the bottom there and it's at the bottom there. No, that's just not what its bag is. It's not about distance. It's about control. Just keep that in mind. Driver, 78 mile an hour, the ERC Soft. I see why a lot of you want me to review the ERC Soft this year now. Yep, okay, I can see. Vice Tour is still up there. That's awesome. Again, the SD05, the Seed being the bottom. That's got to be last year's model. I'm just guessing. 7-iron. Okay, so Q-Star Tour. This isn't by descent angle again, is it? It is. Why are they doing it by descent angle? I don't understand that. Why would you categorize it by descent angle? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know descent angle is important, but not to categorize it by, you know what I mean? Like, it's important, but anyway, okay, so ball speed, we'll just 109, that's going to be the highest. So actually, the Bridgestone Tour B RXS actually is #1 in the ball speed. Triad's up there. So for slow swingers, you know, 80 would be like a 90 mile an hour driver, basically. So that's a little bit slow swingers. Then we get into spin, as you can see. Right there, we got the Kirkland Signature with the most spin. Yeah, it definitely does spin a lot. Vice Tour. Boy, the Vice Tour. Wow. I got to test that ball. MaxFly Tri-Fly. Yep, Tri-Fly does spin a good amount. I recommend the Tri-Fly a lot for people who want a little bit more checkup and spin than like the soft fly or the straight fly. They've used a two-piece. They're like, listen, I just need a little more spin, not a ton, but a little bit. I recommend the Tri-Fly because it's completely affordable, very tight dispersion, very consistent, kind of like the Triad, and it's a really good value, so that's good to see. You got your Bridgestones, got your Seed in there, Callaway ERC Soft, Srixon Q Star Tour, the AVX, okay. I mean, I knew the AVX was more of a low-spinning golf ball, but it's surprising to see it at the bottom. All right, we are moving on to the three-piece models. So this is your three-piece tour balls. Like these are actually, you know, your Pro V1 and your PXG Tour, your Z Star, stuff like that. So number one in ball speed with the driver at 114, we are looking at Mizuno Pro X, which doesn't surprise me. Mizuno's Pro series this year really surprised me a lot. The old Pro X, which was called just the Mizuno Tour X, one of my favorite golf ball reviews I've ever done. I absolutely loved it. It doesn't surprise me that these new models are just as good. I did review these new models earlier in the year, loved them. They're going to be high on the top 100 for sure. I mean, they're going to be in the top half of that 50 for sure. They're just too good. Then we look at the Pro V1, okay, that's obvious. PXG, Tour X being in there, awesome. Even the Mizuno Pro S, you got two Mizunos in the top four. I love to see that. That's excellent. Then you got the PXG Tour, the Srixon Z Star Diamond, the Srixon Z Star XV, Seed SDX1, Vice Pro, Z Star, and then you got the MaxFly Tour and the Tour S. That's kind of interesting. Like a loss of like 3 miles an hour compared to the top. Like, that's pretty slow. But again, ball speed isn't everything. Distance isn't everything. So, I mean, we'll look at spin numbers and stuff like that. But Bridgestone Tour B XS. Now, see, that's funny. I'll touch on that in just a second because we're getting ready to get to the driver 93 mile an hour. So hold on 1 second here. We'll go down here to 93 mile an hour now. Again, Mizuno Pro X, PXG. I mean, most of it. Oh, Mizuno in the top 3 twice, baby. Go Mizuno. I love to see that. That's awesome. Tour BX on the Bridgestone. Now, this is what's funny, right? This is what the difference between robotic testing and human testing is, right? I always look at these tests and say, okay, what matches what I've done, right? What matches comes close? And then I also look for things that's like, wait a minute, what's opposite of what I've tested? Like what? That way I can kind of view the numbers and see. Bridgestone Tour BXS being at the bottom for ball speed. Right now, the Tour BXS is my number one in ball speed for the year. I've tested 80 golf balls on the dot this year so far, and it's number one, and it's not close. So, again, are they wrong? Am I wrong? I don't think either of us are wrong, but we just have to take that and realize, okay, something's up, right? Maybe the Bridgestone Tour BXS is more forgiving because Nick's not using a robot. He's not hitting the center every time. But for an average guy, and you might be watching this thinking, well, I'm an average guy. I don't hit the center every time. That ball had the most consistency when it came to ball speed by far. And like I said, it's number one and it isn't close. So that's a huge discrepancy there. And that's always kind of been my issue with robotic testing is that, yes, I do want to know what golf balls do the best when the conditions are perfect because I want to know what the max potential of a golf ball is. But you also have to know how it reacts when you don't swing perfectly because let's be honest, if I go out and play a round of golf, I might have 2 or 3 really good swings, perfect swings in me all day. The rest are either good, bad, mediocre, above average, whatever, right? So just interesting enough there. I'm disappointed to see that. And then the Z Star, keep in mind the Z Star series is not really about distance either. It's about control and it's about spin. The Z Star series was one of the highest spinning golf balls, not only from a 50-yard pitch perspective, but from green side. I mean, I was just doing little chips on the green and the golf ball was just bouncing all over the place. So again, Z Star is not about distance. It's about control. You're going to see it at the bottom of a lot of these lists. You know, when it comes to ball speed, it's not a bad golf ball. It's going to be very high on the top 100 for us this year. Slow speed, we got Mizuno Pro X again. Boy, the Pro S fell off. Guys, do you see this? So instead of having 2 in the top 3, you've got, again, the Pro X is number 1. The Mizuno Pro S went all the way to the bottom. That seems kind of strange, especially considering the Pro S is supposed to be for slower swing speeds. It's supposed to be the softer golf ball of the two. So that's really strange. I almost wonder if just something happened there. That seems really abnormal. Then we look at, let's see, again, we got the Z Star. Okay, so the Z Star is actually responding really well now. And again, Z Star was at the bottom when it came to 93 mile per hour swing speed. It's now third when it comes to 78. So your swing speed matters, I'm telling you. Get into the iron here. We've got, again, is it by descent angle? Yeah, okay, it is. So I got to dig. Again, the Pro X seems to be the clear winner from the 3-piece models. I mean, by far, it's just at the top of almost everything. Then we get into the wedge, which is going to be by backspin, of course. Z Star Diamond, like I said, Bridgestone Tour BXS. Okay, so maybe the Tour BXS had too much backspin. In fact, if I go up here and look at the driver, that's why it spun. That's why the distance was so low. The spin here, 3,059, and I can attest to that because I did get a ton of spin with it as well. So I get that. I understand that point of it. It is a high spinning golf ball. Not the end of the world for me. It helps my driver fly just a little bit straighter, but 3,000's high. I think I tested mine at like 2,500. Not bad. Okay, so then we got the Tour BX. So the Bridgestone models spin a lot, which is great. Bridgestone flies very straight. The dimple in dimple pattern for Bridgestones, it's one of the straightest golf balls you'll ever hit in your life. That's just how it works. So it's really good. PXG Tour X, okay, great. Z Star, PXG Tour, Max Fly. That's strange. The Tour and the Max Fly Tour S and where's the other one? Is it on here? Oh, that's a 4-piece model. Never mind. Yeah, MaxFly being a low spinning model and being low in the distance is so strange. Now, I will admit, I respect the heck out of MaxFly, and I know a lot of people love them because of the value. MaxFly Tour is not going to be one of those golf balls that's high on my list. I usually don't get great numbers with it. I just don't. I think it's a solid golf ball for people who love Pro V1 and want an alternative. I think there's no other golf ball in the market that if you're just like, I love how this feels, I love how this reacts, but I don't want to pay this much, the MaxFly Tour is the first thing I always turn people toward because it has a very similar, the closest thing you can get probably on the market, in my opinion, somewhere in there, and it's a great alternative. But as far as just like eye-popping numbers, I've never gotten that with MaxFly. I just haven't. The only eye-popping number I've gotten with MaxFly this year was the Tour X. Has the lowest driver spin by far of any golf ball I've tested. So, all right, so now the 4- and 5-piece Tour balls. Let's get into this. This should be fun. Driver with the 114 mile an hour. This is for fast swingers. We have the Callaway Chrome Tour at number 1. Pro V1x left dash, yep. Wilson Staff, very underrated golf ball. The Wilson Staff and the Staff X are very underrated. The Seed SDO2, okay, excellent. Good to see Seed up there. The Pro V1x, awesome. TP5X. The Chrome Tour Triple Diamond. Now, that's interesting because it's slower and about 3 to 4 yards less than the Chrome Tour. And this is why, again, when it comes to robotic testing, sometimes I tell people, hey, this is fun, it's great information, we can use it for our database, but it's not the gospel. And there's so many people who will still come to the channel, and you might be one of them, that's like, no, robotic testing is the only accurate way to test. It's the only... But here's the problem. MyGolfSpy says that the Callaway Chrome Tour Triple Diamond is pretty much number 1 in everything. I mean, there was a couple, but I mean, let's be honest, it was pretty much number 1 or in the top 3 in almost everything across the board. Here, driver speed, it's toward the bottom. And again, it's how you set the robot up. Not saying this isn't relevant, not saying it doesn't matter, of course it does, but the people who come to the channel and leave comments just, your testing is irrelevant because robotic testing is just the greatest thing ever and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, then why is there differences? Robotic testing, again, although necessary, isn't always 100% accurate because you can set it up to do different things. If that was the case, go look at any direct-to-consumer golf ball. The majority of them on their website will have a robotic testing section where they basically tell you, oh, here's our robotic testing. It beat the Pro V1, see? Okay, so do all these direct-to-consumer companies beat the Pro V1? No. But if you set the conditions just right, you can get that extra half yard, and then you can put it on your website. Not saying that that's trickery or anything. It's not. They're being completely 100% truthful. But if you set everything to the exact requirements you need, and then like you're like, okay, this ball's launching a little lower, so we'll go a little lower. Okay, oh, there we go, we got it. Okay, yep, use that. You see what I'm saying? So not to go on a huge rant, I apologize. It's just that I want people to understand that this isn't the gospel. Please don't just read this and whatever the top 3 balls are, go out and try them. Every golfer needs different stuff. Some people need more spin, some people need more distance, some people need more accurate dispersion. Just keep that in mind. And so the Triple Diamond is low. It really is. It's low. The Maxfly Tour X, the Vice Pro Plus, the Vice has kind of taken a little bit of a dive this year, unfortunately. Driver, when it comes to average swing speed, we have the Chrome Tour, which I might have to test the Chrome Tour here soon too. Yeah, a lot of you have been requesting it. TP5X, Tour X, Staff Model X, SDO2, Chrome Tour Triple Diamond, again, really low, like 5th or 6th. 6th, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th, yeah. Wilson Staff, TP5, Left Dash. The Left Dash was almost at the bottom. Surprising enough, the Pro V1x is there too. I actually liked the Pro V1x off of the driver. It was a little more soft, a little more squishy, got up in the air a little bit more for me. I actually had really good results with it. Doesn't appear the Robot did. Now, another thing some of you might say, oh, these are all within 1 mile an hour. It's not going to make a difference. Right, I understand that. We're looking at this as just, we're looking at this from a first place, second place, third place perspective. I understand that the reality is 165.1 compared to 162.3. It's 3 mile an hour. Most golfers, if you're an average golfer, wouldn't notice it. I get all that. So there was a lot of comments like that last time. I completely understand. All right. Driver, 78 mile an hour, TP5X, TP5. That actually does match what MyGolfSpy had as well. So no surprise there. SDO2, Staff Model X, Chrome Tour. Okay, so the Chrome Tour did kind of come down a little bit. Triple Diamond still kind of in its normal spot right there. Left Dash is the second worst. I'm surprised about the Pro V1x. You know, this was the year that I finally was like, hey, the Pro V1x is awesome. I like it. I like what they did with it. I like how they changed it. And now, because of this crap, they're going to change it again, and I'm probably not going to like it. So frustrating. I finally found a Pro V model I like, and I really like. I would use it. I've used it on the course, but now everyone is hating on it because it's so different. You know, it's softer, it's squishier, which I love. I love that bouncy ball. It spins a ton, but I can see stuff like this, and I guarantee you Titleist isn't going to be happy about that, and they're probably going to change it. Dang it. Spin. Chrome Tour X, again, highest spin. Boy, I got to test that Chrome Tour X apparently. TP5, Staff Model X, Pro Plus, TP5X, and then Triple Diamonds toward the bottom, Left Dash is at the bottom, which that's fine. Left Dash is supposed to be a lower spin golf ball, so that doesn't surprise me. Okay. So now this is the last. So what they do now is we did them all by category. This is the last little bit here, and this is essentially the top 10 if you combine all the different models. So this is the first one here is the highest spinning wedge, and this is across any type of golf ball whatsoever. So Callaway Chrome Tour X, Srixon Z Star Diamond, TaylorMade TP5, Wilson Staff Model X, Vice Pro Plus, Titleist Tour Soft, Kirkland Signature, TaylorMade, Bridgestone, Callaway, so Chrome Tour. That's your top 10 highest spinning golf balls. Not surprising there, except for the Titleist Tour Soft. Again, I'm glad it performs well, but I just don't know if I can drop $40 on a two-piece golf ball. I just don't know if I can. I mean, maybe you can. If you can, awesome. You try it. If you're looking for a really soft two-piece model, it might be for you. But for me, value-wise, I mean, I still play like the Precept Laddie Extreme, and I get them for $1 a golf ball. You know what I mean? And they're awesome. So, all right. So, longest ball for fast swingers. So, Callaway Chrome Tour is actually the longest when it comes to yards, carry yards. Then you have the Pro V1 Left Dash. You have the Staff Model. At number 4, you have the two-piece Bridgestone E12 Speed. I love to see that. Staff Model X, Mizuno Pro X. Mizuno did really good this year. Titleist Pro V1, Seed SDO2, PXG Tour X, and the Pro V1x. Okay, so Pro V1x is still up there. I guess for slower swing speeds, it was a little lower. But what is the longest ball for players with average swing speeds? Okay, Callaway Chrome Tour again, Mizuno Pro X, TaylorMade TP5X, MaxFly Straight Fly. Ooh, hey, go Straight Fly. MaxFly Tour X. Wilson Staff Model X, Seed SDO2. Again, the Bridgestone E12 Speed. Awesome. Kick butt, man. Callaway Chrome Tour Triple Diamond and PXG Tour X. Okay, good stuff. What is the longest ball for slower swingers? Okay, TP5X, TP5, SDO2, which, by the way, real quick on the TP5, for robotic testing, I buy that. 5-piece golf balls are very fast, usually off the driver. For human testing, my experience with 5-piece golf balls has been when you hit them perfectly, yeah, I love it. When you slightly hit it just off center, like on the toe, just a little bit, like an inch to the right, ow, my hands, I lose 20, 30 yards. That's just been my experience. So I believe that when it comes to robotic testing, but human testing, I haven't done the TP5X or the TP5 this year. We'll see how it goes when I do. Chrome Tour again, Staff Model, ERC Soft, Straight Fly again, love to see that, Pro X, and the E12 Speed. Boy, the E12 Speed had a great showing. Great showing. What is the lowest spinning golf ball off the tee for fast swing speeds? Okay, so left dash makes sense. Tour BX, okay, yep. MaxFly Tour S, okay. Pro V1, SDO2, Chrome Tour, yep, okay. All the usual suspects. Awesome. Cool. So that's the that's the results. Good stuff. I love to see it. Today's golfer, MyGolfSpy, back-to-back within a 2-week period. I love to see these types of tests. It's great. It's good information. It's great to have in your back pocket. One thing I think I would like to do, I thought about doing it at the end of this video, but I think I'm going to do it in a separate video. I think I'm going to do like a top 5 things that the robotic tests have taught us about this year. I'll work on the title. But I want to take this test and MyGolfSpy, combine them into one as far as, you know, what have we seen from both these tests that we're like, okay, both of them said this was really good. Okay, both of them said this one was really bad. Both of them, and get that as well. So I'm going to try to start working on that to have that for you as well. Kind of like my 5 takeaways. There's a lot of good ones. You know, this is really good. And what I like is that the results on this one were a lot different than MyGolfSpy. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me rant for 30 minutes. Hope you enjoyed this. If you want more stuff like this, just let me know. That's why I did this one, because you guys asked for it. So, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. If you want honest golf ball reviews from an average golfer, just from the average human testing element, you know, this is what we're all about, baby. We'd love to have you. See you soon.